My name is Diego, and I was there when Mia's story changed forever. It was a crisp autumn morning on October 15th at a quaint cafe in downtown Portland, where she stood, a vision of resilience, sipping her morning coffee. Her heart raced as she faced the harsh reality of her recent separation from her ex-husband, a man who had once filled her life with laughter but now loomed like a shadow over her future. As she smiled at the barista, a hint of warmth in her eyes, the smell of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sound of wind chimes dancing in the gentle breeze, embodying the strength she fought to maintain. Yet beneath that bright smile, she trembled, caught in the delicate balance between hope and despair. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that the betrayal went deeper than anyone could have imagined, entwining their lives in ways they never thought possible. Just days earlier, she had buried her mother, a profound loss that left her feeling adrift in a world that felt increasingly hostile. It was at her mother's funeral that hidden truths began to unravel, secrets whispered among family members, a glance exchanged between her ex-husband and a distant relative, and the unsettling realization that her mother's life had been intertwined with their past in ways Mia was only beginning to discover. As she stood there, grappling with her grief, she had no idea that the events of that day would set in motion a chain reaction that would forever alter her understanding of love, loyalty, and betrayal. Mia stood in the backyard, the air thick with the sweet, earthy scent of rain on pavement. It was a typical Sunday, and the wind chimes tinkled softly above her head, a gentle reminder of the warmth that filled her home during family gatherings. This place, with its familiar chaos and laughter, had been her sanctuary, a space where memories were made and cherished. Today, however, felt different. The shadow of her mother's recent passing loomed over her, darkening the vibrant colors of her memories. She looked around, her heart heavy with the weight of loss, yet the smell of pancakes wafting from the kitchen ignited a flicker of nostalgia. Her mother had always made them fluffy and golden, a tradition that Mia had kept alive even in the wake of grief. As she poured syrup over her stack, she recalled the times they spent together, her mother sharing stories of their ancestry, weaving tales of strength and resilience that made Mia feel connected to something larger than herself. "Mia, can you help me with these?" Her brother, Diana, called from the dining room, struggling with a few plates piled high. His tone was light, but there was an edge beneath it that Mia couldn't quite place. She nodded, moving inside where the soft chatter of family filled the air. Everyone was gathered around the table, laughter mingling with the sweet scent of breakfast. As they settled down to eat, preserve the original language of the text, her voice weaving in and out like a melody. "You know, our family has always valued honesty and loyalty," she said, looking around the table. "Those are the cornerstones of who we are." Mia felt a swell of pride. It was moments like these that reminded her why family was everything. After the meal, while tidying up, Mia stumbled upon an old family photo album tucked away on a shelf. Curious, she flipped through the pages, each photograph capturing a fragment of their lives, smiling faces, summer vacations, and holiday celebrations. Yet, as she turned the pages, she noticed something peculiar. A letter was stuck between two photos, yellowed with age. Heart racing, she gently pulled it out and unfolded it. It was a note from her mother, written in her elegant script. "My dearest Mia," it began, and as she read on, her heart sank. The letter hinted at a family secret, something her mother had never shared. "There are truths that must remain hidden for the sake of our family," it concluded. Confused and intrigued, Mia knew she had to confront Diana about it. "Mia, are you all right?" Ethan asked, noticing her pale face as she rejoined the group. He had been her rock through the difficult times, his unwavering support a comfort amidst the chaos. "I found something," she whispered, glancing back at Diana, who was now chatting animatedly with James. "A letter from Mom. It talks about secrets." Ethan's expression shifted to concern. "Secrets? What kind?" Before she could respond, Diana approached them, his demeanor casual but his eyes betraying a hint of nervousness. "Hey, what's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost." Mia hesitated, feeling the weight of her discovery pressing down on her. "I found a letter from Mom. It seems there's something she didn't want us to know." Diana's face paled momentarily, but he quickly masked it with a grin. "Oh, come on. It's probably just some old family lore. You know how she loved to tell stories." But Mia wasn't convinced. "No, Diana, it felt serious. I think it's about us, about the inheritance." At the mention of inheritance, James stepped closer, his charming smile fading into something more calculating. "Inheritance? Now that's a topic worth discussing." Mia narrowed her eyes at him, sensing an undercurrent of tension. "Why are you so interested, James? You've always been quick to capitalize on family turmoil." He shrugged, feigning innocence. "Just looking out for my family, Mia. We need to know what we're entitled to." Mia felt a surge of anger. "Entitled? This isn't about entitlement, James. This is about our mother's wishes." As the conversation swirled around her, Mia could feel the weight of the letter in her pocket, a symbol of everything that was about to unravel. The smell of pancakes lingered in the air, but it felt tainted now. A reminder of the bittersweet moments that had been overshadowed by deceit. Cultural reflection. In the backyard, it hurt like strength. With a sudden resolve, Mia turned to face her brother. "Diana, I need to know the truth. What did you do?" Diana's expression shifted, a flicker of something dark crossing his face. "You wouldn't understand, Mia." Mia's heart raced as she prepared herself for the confrontation she never thought she'd have to face. "Try me," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos inside her. Just then, a gust of wind sent the wind chimes into a frenetic dance, mirroring the turmoil within. "Let's just enjoy this meal," Diana said, dismissing her. But Mia could sense it, the tension, the fear, and most importantly, the betrayal that was about to come to light. In that moment, she realized that the family she had always thought she knew was crumbling around her, and the secrets buried deep would soon rise to the surface. As she glanced at Ethan, she felt a flicker of hope. He would be by her side as she navigated through the storm that was brewing. Thought. The smell of pancakes brought painful memories. Mia was ready to confront her brother, ready to unveil the truth that had been hidden for too long. The betrayal of family was a heavy burden, but she knew she had to face it head-on. The weight of the letter pressed against her heart, a silent promise that the truth would finally be revealed. Mia gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. James noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the backyard, where the scent of fresh grass mingled with the faint aroma of coffee wafting from inside. Family and friends gathered, sharing their memories of Mia's mother, each story a bittersweet reminder of the woman they had lost. Laughter occasionally broke through the weight of sorrow, but an uncomfortable tension loomed in the air, particularly between Mia and her brother, Diana. As the eulogy unfolded, Mia stood near the back, clutching a paper cup filled with coffee that had long gone cold. She watched Diana, who sat a few rows ahead, his nervous demeanor standing out amidst the crowd. He fidgeted with his phone, glancing around as if searching for an escape route. Her heart sank at the sight. He had always been the favored child, but today he seemed more anxious than she had ever seen him. "Can you believe how much she meant to everyone?" one of the family friends whispered to another, their voices barely audible over the gentle rustling of leaves. "I just hope everything goes smoothly with the estate." Mia's ears perked up. The mention of the estate sent a shiver down her spine. The whispers continued, and she strained to hear more. "I heard there might be some disagreements. You know how families are," the friend said, glancing nervously at Diana. "Yeah, especially with the way Diana's been acting." The other replied, a knowing look in their eyes. Mia's gut twisted. She had been so focused on mourning her mother that she hadn't considered the implications of the inheritance. The thought of her brother betraying her trust again made her stomach churn. After the service concluded, guests began to disperse, but Mia remained rooted to the spot. She needed to confront Diana. She made her way through the crowd, her heart racing. "Diana," she called out, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. He turned, his face pale, and for a brief moment their eyes locked. "Mia, I was just," he started, but she interrupted him. "Just what? Avoiding me? I saw you fidgeting during the eulogy. What's going on?" Diana shifted uncomfortably, his gaze darting to the ground. It's been a tough day, okay? We all loved Mom." "Then why do I feel like you're hiding something?" Mia pressed, her heart pounding. She could sense the weight of his secret pressing down on her, a suffocating reality she wasn't ready to face. "Mia, I swear," he began, but she cut him off again, frustration bubbling over. "Don't lie to me. I overheard what they were saying about the estate. You know something, don't you?" He hesitated, glancing around as if searching for an audience. "It's complicated," he finally muttered, looking away. "Complicated or just selfish?" Mia replied sharply. "You've always put yourself first, haven't you?" The accusation hung in the air, heavy and accusatory. "Mia, please," he pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. "You don't understand." "Oh my God, I can't believe this," she said, shaking her head in disbelief. "You're really going to act like you're innocent in all of this?" At that moment, Ethan stepped in, his presence a steadying force beside her. "Mia, let's take a breath," he suggested, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We can talk about this." Mia took a deep breath, her emotions swirling like the wind chimes hanging by the porch. "Ethan, he's hiding something. I just know it." "Maybe you should let him explain," Ethan said gently, his eyes urging her to listen. Diana opened his mouth to speak, but before he could say anything, the sound of a commotion drew their attention. A family member had stumbled upon a box that had been left unattended, and as they opened it, a gasp echoed through the crowd. "What is this?" they exclaimed, pulling out a document. Mia's heart raced as she approached. "What's going on?" The family member held up the document, and Mia's stomach dropped as she realized what it was. "This is a signed confession from Diana about the inheritance." Diana's face paled, and in that moment, Mia knew everything was about to change. "What? No, that's not what it looks like," he stammered, his previous bravado crumbling. Mia's pulse quickened as she took the document from the family member. "I can't believe you did this," she said, her voice shaking with disbelief and anger. Diana's eyes darted around, panic evident as she searched for a way to salvage his lies. "Mia, please, you don't understand the situation." But as the truth settled in, Mia felt a surge of strength rise within her. "I understand perfectly," she said, her voice steady. "This isn't just about inheritance, it's about family, and you've betrayed us all." The backyard, once filled with memories and laughter, became a battleground of emotions, the wind chimes ringing eerily in the background as the truth hung heavily in the air. Reflection: that moment in the backyard changed everything. As the reality of the betrayal seeped into the hearts of those gathered, Mia realized that this was only the beginning of a fight she never wanted, but was now determined to face head-on. Mia took a deep breath. "We need to have a serious conversation." James tensed up. "About what exactly?" Mia stood in the living room, the scent of fresh grass wafting through the open window as a gentle breeze danced with the wind chimes hanging by the porch. The atmosphere was heavy with grief, yet Mia felt an unsettling tension that gnawed at her insides. She caught sight of Diana, her brother, leaning against the wall, his eyes darting away whenever they met. The way he avoided her gaze sent a chill down her spine. "Diana," she called, her voice steady but edged with concern. "We need to talk about what's been going on." He shrugged, a nonchalant gesture that only fueled her frustration. "I'm just grieving, Mia. Can't you give me a break?" "Oh my God, you're acting like it's just you who's hurting. This is our mother we lost." Mia's heart sank as she fought to keep her voice from trembling. The air between them felt charged, each unspoken word a reminder of the distance that had grown between them over the years. "Look, I don't have time for this right now," Diana replied, crossing his arms defensively. "Can't you see I'm trying to process everything?" Mia felt the heat rise in her chest. The usual charm he wielded like a shield was gone, revealing something darker beneath the surface. She needed to confront him, to expose the cracks in his facade. But as she stood there, doubt crept in. Was she imagining things? Was it possible that her grief was warping her perception of her own brother? Later that evening, after everyone had left and the house was steeped in silence, Mia decided to go through her mother's belongings. She rummaged through the family heirloom chest that had stood proudly in the corner for decades, hoping to find a memory that could bring her comfort. As she pulled out old quilts and photographs, something caught her eye: a small, hidden compartment at the bottom of the chest. With trembling fingers, she pried it open, revealing a stack of old financial documents. Her heart raced as she leafed through them, her mind racing with questions. These papers hinted at undisclosed wealth, investments made long before Mia was even born. "Why would Mom keep this a secret?" she whispered to herself, her breath catching in her throat. Just then, Ethan stepped into the room, his presence a warm balm against the chill of her discoveries. "Mia, are you okay?" She looked up, her expression a mix of confusion and determination. "I've found something that doesn't add up." Ethan approached, his brow furrowing with concern. "What do you mean?" Mia held up the documents, her voice trembling with urgency. "These show that Mom had money hidden away. Why wouldn't she tell us? And where's Diana in all of this?" Ethan's eyes widened as he scanned the papers. "You think he's involved?" "I can't shake the feeling that something is off about him," Mia replied, frustration bubbling to the surface. "He's been so secretive, and I don't know if I can trust him anymore." Just then, a soft knock interrupted their conversation. It was Mia's cousin, Rachel, who had been sitting quietly in the corner, lost in her own thoughts. "I heard you guys talking. Can I come in?" "Of course," Mia said, her heart swelling with gratitude for the support of family. "I just found these documents." Rachel stepped closer, her eyes narrowing as she examined the papers. "Wow, this is significant. I had a gut feeling something was off about Diana, too. I thought it was just me being paranoid." Mia's heart fluttered with a mixture of relief and dread. "You sensed it too? I'm not crazy?" "Not at all," Rachel replied, her voice firm. "We need to figure out what's going on. You shouldn't be alone in this." The three of them formed a small circle, united by a shared purpose. As they pored over the documents, a sense of strength filled the room. They were digging for truth, and Mia felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Maybe she wasn't as alone as she thought. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Diana strode in. His expression a mask of feigned innocence. "What are you all doing in here?" Mia's heart raced as she held up the documents, determination flooding her veins. "I found these, Diana, and I want answers." His eyes widened, the facade slipping ever so slightly. "Those are just old papers. They don't mean anything." "Don't lie to me," Mia exclaimed, her voice rising. "You've been acting shady ever since Mom passed, and I want to know why." Diana's jaw clenched, and for a moment, the air crackled with tension. "You wouldn't understand," he snapped, but there was a flicker of something behind his eyes. Fear? Guilt? The revelation hung in the air, thick and palpable. "Oh my God," Rachel whispered, her voice trembling. "What are you hiding?" As the silence stretched, Mia felt an unexpected surge of courage. This was her moment to confront the betrayal that had unfolded in the shadows. She wouldn't back down. "I'm not afraid of you anymore, Diana. Whatever you're hiding, it ends now." Mia stood firm, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and defiance. In that living room, she realized that the strength of family could be both a blessing and a curse. But she was ready to face whatever lay ahead, because this time she wouldn't let betrayal define her. "I can't believe you did this!" Mia exclaimed. James tried to explain, but words failed him. Mia leaned against the porch railing, the fresh grass beneath her feet glistening in the afternoon sun. Birds chirped merrily, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside her. Clutching a crumpled letter in her hand, her heart sank as she reread her mother's carefully penned words. "I want my children to share equally in my inheritance, but only under the condition that they honor the family values I instilled in them." The last line echoed ominously in her mind. "I trust you both to care for each other." As she stood there, a whirlwind of memories flooded back. Her mother's laughter, the sweet scent of apple pie baking in the kitchen, and the warmth of family gatherings. Those moments felt like a distant dream now, overshadowed by the bitter reality unfolding before her. "Mia!" James's voice cut through her thoughts, smooth as honey but laced with a hint of insincerity. He sauntered over, his charming smile barely masking the unease that flickered in his eyes. "Have you seen Diana? He's been acting a bit strange." "Oh my God, James, this isn't about him right now," Mia snapped, feeling the frustration boil inside her. "I just found this letter from Mom. It's about the inheritance." James's expression shifted, curiosity piqued. "What does it say?" Mia took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "It says everything is supposed to be divided equally, but—" She hesitated, feeling the weight of her words. "But it also says we need to honor family values. Diana's not doing that." Just then, Diana emerged from the house, a shadow of his usual self. He crossed his arms defensively, his expression a mix of guilt and defiance. "What's this about?" Mia's heart raced. "I found Mom's letter. She wanted us to share everything equally, but you've manipulated things behind my back, haven't you?" Diana's eyes narrowed. "You think I did this? You're the one who always played the favorite." Mia's breath hitched. "Favorite? Mom loved us both. You've been jealous since we were kids." He stepped closer, his voice low and menacing. "You don't know what it was like, Mia. Always living in your shadow. Always her favorite. I had to do something." Mia recoiled, hurt etched on her face. "What did you do, Diana?" Before he could respond, Ethan arrived, his loyal presence like a shield against the chaos. "What's going on?" he asked, concern etched across his brow. "Diana's been hiding something about the will," Mia blurted out, her voice rising with the tension in the air. Ethan turned to Diana, his gaze steady. "Is that true? Did you manipulate the will?" Diana's jaw clenched, and for a moment, it seemed as if he might crumble under the weight of his own deception. "I didn't manipulate anything. Mom was just confused." "Confused?" Mia echoed, incredulous. "She was perfectly clear in this letter." At that moment, the family lawyer, Mr. Adams, approached them, his demeanor hesitant. "I couldn't help but overhear. Mia, I think it's time you knew the truth." "What truth?" Mia demanded, her pulse quickening. Mr. Adams shifted uncomfortably. "Before your mother passed, Diana convinced her to change the will. It was a last-minute decision, and she was not in her right mind. I didn't want to believe it, but—" Mia felt the ground shift beneath her. "Oh my God, are you serious?" Diana's face turned pale, but he quickly regained his composure. "She was just trying to make things fair." "Fair?" Mia shot back, anger flaring. "You twisted her words to suit your needs. You've betrayed her trust." Mia's heart raced as she processed the staggering betrayal. She could hardly breathe. The porch, which had once felt like a sanctuary, now felt like a prison. The scent of fresh grass and the sound of birds chirping faded into the background, leaving her with only a deafening silence. "Do you realize how much you've hurt Mom?" Mia's voice trembled. She wanted us to care for each other, not tear each other apart." Diana's eyes hardened, revealing the bitterness he had harbored for years. "Maybe it's time you accepted the truth, Mia. You were never the victim here. You always had everything." Mia felt a cold wave of realization wash over her. "You thought this would hurt me, but it only shows how weak you are. I can't believe I ever trusted you." A sudden silence enveloped the porch as Mia's words lingered in the air. The tension was palpable, and in that moment, she knew nothing would ever be the same. This wasn't just about inheritance, it was about family, trust, and a bond that had been irreparably broken. In that poignant silence, she realized the true cost of betrayal. The love she had once felt for her brother now felt tainted, and the strength she found in the letter became a reminder of all that had been lost. As she stood there, the weight of her mother's legacy hung heavy over them, a bittersweet reminder of the woman who had loved them both, even as they stood on the brink of destruction. Mia stood on the porch, her fingers wrapped tightly around a steaming mug of fresh coffee, the warmth contrasting sharply with the chill settling in her heart. The scent of fresh grass wafted up from the backyard, where memories of laughter and love now felt like distant echoes. The wind chimes swayed gently in the breeze, their soft tinkling underscoring the uneasy silence that loomed over her family gathering. It was supposed to be a day of remembrance, a time to celebrate her mother's life, but instead, it had morphed into a battlefield of emotions. As she glanced back into the house, her gaze fell on Diana. He was standing near the window, nervously tapping his fingers against the glass, his eyes darting away whenever they met hers. It was as if he were a child again, caught in some petty misdeed. The memory sparked a flicker of anger within her, mixing with the sorrow that had enveloped her since their mother's passing. Oh my God, how had it come to this? "Ethan," Mia called softly, spotting her loyal friend on the edge of the gathering. He had been her rock, a constant source of strength in these turbulent times. She beckoned him over, wanting to share her thoughts. "I can't shake this feeling that Diana is hiding something. I need to find out what he's done." Ethan nodded, his expression serious. "I'll help you, Mia, whatever it takes." His unwavering support felt like a lifeline, grounding her amidst the storm of betrayal brewing within her family. They had shared countless moments, but this was different. This was a fight for justice. As they sifted through family records and documents later that afternoon, Mia felt a knot tightening in her stomach. Each piece of paper they uncovered felt like a puzzle piece revealing a bigger picture. Among the old wills and letters, one document caught her eye, a signed confession from Diana, detailing how he had manipulated their mother's trust for his own gain. Her heart sank as she read the words, each one like a dagger twisting deeper into her already wounded spirit. "Mia, are you okay?" Ethan asked, concern etched on his face. "No, I'm not," she whispered, the weight of the confession pressing down on her. "I can't believe he would do this, after everything Mom taught us about family, about loyalty." Reflection. That moment at the porch changed everything. She was no longer just the grieving daughter, she had become a warrior for her mother's legacy. Preserve the original language of the text head-on. But a pang of hesitation gripped her. Could she truly expose Diana for the world to see? Would it bring peace, or merely ignite a firestorm that would consume their family? She took a deep breath, the aroma of fresh coffee filling her lungs, and closed her eyes. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind, reminding her of the lessons on forgiveness and compassion. "You can't let anger drive your actions, Mia," she would say. But how could she forgive when her heart felt so heavy? "Mia?" Ethan's voice brought her back. "You don't have to do this alone. We can plan what you want to say. This isn't just about Diana, it's about your mother's memory. You need to stand up for her." Determined, Mia began to draft a speech for the upcoming family meeting, each word a step toward reclaiming her mother's legacy. She envisioned standing in front of her family, confronting Diana with the evidence of his betrayal. The thought ignited a fire within her, but also brought a wave of fear. What if this tore them apart irrevocably? In the days leading up to the meeting, she wrestled with her emotions, replaying her mother's teachings in her mind, while the grass beneath her feet whispered promises of new beginnings. But the truth was murky, and Mia felt lost in the maze of her own heart. Finally, the day arrived. The family gathered once more, the atmosphere charged with tension. Mia's heart raced as she took her place at the center of the porch, the familiar sound of wind chimes ringing eerily in the background. She scanned the faces of her family, her eyes landing on Diana, who appeared anxious and defensive. "Mia, what's this about?" James interjected, his charming facade slipping as he noticed the gravity of the situation. Mia steadied her breath, feeling Ethan's reassuring presence beside her. "I need to talk about something important," she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. "About trust, family, and what it means to honor our mother's memory." Diana shifted uncomfortably, his expression a mix of anger and fear. "You don't know what you're talking about," he shot back, desperation creeping into his tone. "Oh, but I do." Mia held up the letter, her heart racing as the air thickened with anticipation. "This is your confession, Diana. You manipulated our mother's trust, and it's time everyone knew the truth." Gasps echoed from the gathered family. Mia's heart raced, the air around her electrified with disbelief. She had stepped into the light, ready to confront the darkness, but she hadn't anticipated the wave of emotions that would follow. The shock on Diana's face was palpable, and for a fleeting moment she felt a flicker of sympathy for him, battling his demons in the shadows. "Mia, please," Diana pleaded, his voice cracking. "You don't understand." "Enough," she interrupted, her voice stronger than she felt. "You betrayed our mother's trust, and you've betrayed me. I can't let this go unchallenged. Not now." In that moment, Mia realized that her fight was not just for justice, it was a fight for healing, for a chance to reclaim the love and values her mother had instilled in them. She could no longer sit idly by as the foundations of their family crumbled beneath the weight of betrayal. As the wind chimes played their mournful tune, Mia stood tall, ready to face whatever came next. She had uncovered the truth, and now she would find a way to heal the wounds that had threatened to tear them apart. Mia clenched her fists. "I don't want to hear any more excuses." James hung his head. "I'm truly sorry." Mia stood in the center of the backyard, the weight of her mother's passing heavy on her shoulders. Family and friends mingled around her, their voices a mix of laughter and tears, but all she could hear was the distant hum of traffic, a reminder of the world continuing outside this moment of grief. The smell of fresh grass lingered in the air, but it offered little comfort. Today was not just about mourning, it was about truth. Taking a deep breath, Mia felt her heart race as she prepared to speak. She glanced over at James, who stood off to the side, his charming smile masking a glint of something darker. He seemed too eager to capitalize on the chaos. Then her gaze shifted to Diana, who was fidgeting with the hem of his shirt, his eyes darting nervously. She could feel the tension in the air, a storm waiting to break. "Everyone, can I have your attention?" Mia called out, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Heads turned, conversations faded, and she took another breath, trying to summon the strength she needed. "I found a letter from Mom about the inheritance and her wishes for us." "Oh my God, Mia, not now," James interjected, his tone dismissive, but Mia pressed on. "I think it's important," she said, her resolve solidifying. She wanted us to remember that family comes first, even in difficult times. She believed in honesty and trust. A murmur rippled through the crowd, but Mia continued, her voice rising above the whispers. "She wrote about how she hoped Diana and I would always support each other, that we would never let jealousy come between us. She pulled the letter from her pocket, feeling its weight like a stone in her hand. I want to read an excerpt. As she unfolded the paper, Mia's heart sank. The words were like a lifeline, yet they felt so far away from the reality of what had happened. Mom wrote, "It's crucial that you both remain united, especially when times are tough. Love each other and remember that wealth is not just material." Just as she was about to read more, she noticed Diana's face drain of color. "Mia, please don't," he said, his voice trembling. "You don't understand." Mia shook her head, refusing to back down. "No, you don't understand. You've betrayed her trust." She reached into her bag and pulled out the signed confession, holding it up for everyone to see. "This is from you, Diana. You stole from her." Gasps erupted from the gathered family, and chaos ensued. "What are you talking about?" Diana shouted, but there was no denying the truth in Mia's hand. "I can't believe this," Ethan whispered beside her, his eyes wide with disbelief. He stepped forward, his loyalty unwavering. "Diana, you need to explain yourself." Mia's heart raced, a mix of fear and adrenaline coursing through her veins. She felt the eyes of the family on her, some in disbelief, others in support. "You lied to all of us," she exclaimed, her voice cracking. "You thought you could get away with this?" Diana's expression turned defiant. "I did it for us, Mia. Mom always favored you. I just wanted what was fair." His words were a poison, twisting the truth into something ugly. "No, you wanted what you wanted, and you didn't care who you hurt." Mia shot back, feeling the anger bubble to the surface. "You've always been jealous, haven't you? Even when she was alive." The argument escalated, family members taking sides. Some supported Mia, while others defended Diana, who now stood in the middle of a storm he had created. "You're tearing this family apart," James chimed in, his voice oily with feigned concern. "Mia, you're being irrational." "Rational? Oh, please," Mia snapped, feeling the heat of betrayal surge through her. "You're the last person who should talk about being rational." In that moment, a realization hit her. In the backyard, it hurt like hope. This wasn't just about inheritance, it was about the very fabric of their family. Diana was unraveling the threads that held them together, and she couldn't let that happen. As voices clashed, Mia took a step back, her heart pounding. "You all need to listen to me," she shouted, her voice ringing with desperation. "Mom wanted us to be better than this. She wanted us to love one another." With each word, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. We can't let jealousy and greed destroy what little we have left of her. Diana's defiance faltered, and in that moment, Mia saw the cracks in his armor. I didn't mean to hurt anyone," he stammered, his bravado fading. I thought it would fix everything." Mia's heart softened for a split second as she realized how lost he truly was. "It won't fix anything, Diana, but we can start over. We need to be honest with each other, for her." Just then, James stepped closer, a dark gleam in his eyes. "Mia, you don't understand what's at stake. This isn't just about you two." She turned to him, her resolve hardening. "It is about us. If we can't trust each other, what do we have left?" Suddenly, the air felt charged, as if the universe was holding its breath. Reflection. That moment at the backyard changed everything. But Mia realized that this confrontation could either tear them apart or bind them together in a new understanding. "I refuse to let her memory be tarnished by lies," Mia declared, her voice steady. "We owe it to her to be better, and if that means confronting uncomfortable truths, then so be it." The backyard, filled with the scent of fresh grass and the distant sounds of traffic, stood witness to their family's reckoning. "Enough!" Mia shouted, her voice echoing. "Please let me speak," James pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Mia finalized. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow across the backyard, Mia gathered her family and a few close friends in the living room. The scent of fresh grass wafted through the open windows, mingling with the sweet aroma of apple pie cooling on the counter. She had spent the last few days organizing this small memorial, determined to focus on celebrating her mother's life rather than the chaos that had unfolded after her passing. Preserve the original language of the text heavy in her heart. It felt surreal to think that just days ago she had exposed Diana's betrayal in front of everyone. The memory of reading his signed confession echoed in her mind like a haunting refrain. Her heart sank at the thought of how their relationship had shifted, how trust had been shattered. Yet there was a flicker of hope amidst the sorrow. "Thank you all for being here," Mia began, her voice steady despite the tremor she felt inside. "I know this has been a tough time for all of us. My mother loved each of you dearly, and she would want us to remember the joy she brought into our lives." Ethan, sitting on the edge of the couch, nodded in support, his presence a reassuring anchor in the storm. "You're doing great, Mia," he whispered, offering a small smile. As Mia spoke, she caught a glimpse of Diana standing in the corner, his expression a mix of guilt and regret. It was a stark reminder of their childhood, when jealousy had always lingered beneath the surface. "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," Mia thought, struggling to reconcile the brother she had known with the man who had betrayed her trust. "Mom always said that family is everything," Mia continued, her gaze sweeping over the gathering. "We may not be perfect, but we can learn and grow from our mistakes." The sound of distant traffic outside felt oddly comforting, a reminder that life continued beyond the walls of their grief. Diana stepped forward, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, Mia. I never meant to hurt you. I was just lost." Mia's heart softened at his words, a small part of her wanting to believe him. "We all feel lost sometimes, Diana, but stealing from family? That's a different level of betrayal." "I know," he replied, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I was wrong, and I want to make it right." The room fell silent, the tension palpable. Mia took a deep breath, letting the scent of apple pie fill her lungs, grounding her in the moment. Thought, what would Mom have said? "Let's focus on Mom today," Mia said finally. "Not on what's been lost, but on the love she gave us." She reached for the pie, slicing a piece and offering it to Diana. "Here, it's what she would have wanted." To her surprise, Diana accepted it, the gesture small but significant. It was a step towards healing, a bridge across the chasm of betrayal. As the gathering continued, stories flowed, laughter mingling with tears. Mia felt her mother's presence in the room, a warm embrace that enveloped them all. She realized that in this moment of reconciliation, she was becoming the keeper of her family's values, just as her mother had been. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden light through the windows, Mia paused to reflect on how far they had come. "Thank you all for being here," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Let's honor my mom by moving forward together." And as they shared memories and laughter, Mia felt a profound sense of closure. Though the scars of betrayal would take time to heal, there was a flicker of hope for the future. "Together, we can find our way back," she whispered, looking around at the faces of those she loved. In that moment, surrounded by family and friends, Mia understood that life was not merely about the inheritance they had lost, but about the love and connection they still shared. "At my mother's funeral, I discovered that my brother stole her inheritance. I read his signed confession in front of everyone. And you, on your porch, how do you rebuild trust after betrayal?" Mia smiled for the first time in days. "Everything will be okay." James nodded. "You're stronger than you know." Mia smiled for the first time in days. "Everything will be okay." James nodded. "You're stronger than you know." Feeling a warmth spread through her, preserve the original language of the backyard, where the last rays of sunlight danced on the leaves. The air was still, a gentle breeze rustling through the grass, the soft chirping of birds settling in for the night. It was peaceful, a stark contrast to the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. "Do you remember that time Mom tried to teach us to ride bikes?" Mia asked, her voice breaking the comforting silence. Laughter erupted from the group, the sound echoing off the walls like a balm to her soul. "Of course, you were terrified, but she kept saying, 'Just keep pedaling,'" Diana chimed in, a hint of nostalgia softening his features. Mia looked at him, searching for sincerity. "You fell so many times, but you always got back up," she said, her heart swelling with a mix of pride and sadness. "That's what she taught us, right? To keep moving forward?" "Yeah," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I guess I forgot that for a while." The room felt lighter, as if the air had shifted. Preserve the original language of hope igniting within her. "Maybe it's not too late," she suggested, glancing at the faces surrounding her. "We can all learn to ride again, together." Ethan, leaning against the doorframe, smiled warmly. "That's the spirit, Mia. Your mom would be proud." As the evening deepened, the scent of apple pie mingled with the fresh-cut grass, wrapping them all in a comforting embrace. Mia watched as her friends shared stories, voices overlapping in a beautiful symphony of memories. She joined in, recounting tales of her mother's laughter, her passion for gardening, and the way she could light up a room with her smile. The doorbell rang, breaking the moment. Who could that be? Mia wondered aloud, glancing at Diana, who shrugged. "I'll get it," he offered, and as he walked away, Mia felt a knot of apprehension in her stomach. She wasn't ready for any more surprises today. When Diana opened the door, a familiar figure stepped inside, Aunt Lisa, her mother's sister, with a warm casserole in hand and a look of concern etched on her face. "I heard about everything," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I came as soon as I could. I'm so sorry for your loss." Mia's heart swelled. "Aunt Lisa, thank you." As they hugged, Mia felt a sense of unity growing, a reminder that, despite the fractures, love could still weave its way through the cracks. Together, Mia thought, we will find a way.